Okay, good morning, son. I've been trying to want to do this for a long time. I'm unsure how to do it. This is not going to be some polished um, exercise in video management. You are now 18, 19 months old, and when you were born I was 55. So I'm really aware that the time that we have together will be more limited than most would expect. However, it might not work out like this, and all of this might become really irrelevant. However, what I want to do is I want to hopefully share some of the things that I've learned over the last 50 years of my life. Give you an opportunity to understand the world that you're coming into, what it is like, how to survive it, and in a lot of ways how to think, because that was the one thing that I wasn't taught. I wasn't taught how to think. I was taught what to think, and that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to happen to you. From the minute you're born, the pressure from society, from the outside, is to mould you into a way that they want you, whether it's through the government, through the education system, through religion, through newspapers, through any sort of media, including this one, funny enough. You know what I mean? That's how that is basically how it works. So where do I start? Okay. The first thing I think I need to start is, when I look at the world now, I see it what I believe of what it is, right? You are going to live in a capitalist society. And because you're going to live in a capitalist society, everything is going to be about the extraction of money and the enslavement through debt. Now, most people will go, this is rubbish, you know what I mean? It's a voice for good. There is no good in it. It's based on greed. And greed is probably one of the most destructive of man's traits. Basically because a greedy man is a very stupid man. What he doesn't realise is that it has no value. You know, we all die, son. We all go in the same bit of earth, and that is the end. And anything that we've amassed in the meantime becomes irrelevant. What the relevance is what you do with it. So, where shall I start? Okay. Let's start with the most controversial one at the minute. God. Religion. My belief is there is no God, right? And I can go into the reasons why, but very simply, right? If God is this all-knowing, all-seeing, all-being, loving entity, right, then there's no way he would allow things to happen. There's no way that such an imperfect being as a human would have been created by such a perfect being, unless he's some sort of sick fucker, basically. Do you know what I mean? Who decided to have a laugh, right, and watch people harm each other. So for that reason, I don't believe any God. The other reason is that, you know, what religion is used for. It is used to you know, it works on people's fears. Most people believe they need something because they are scared of dying. Let me tell you, son, we're all gonna die. It is the universal law. There's nothing to be afraid of it. You know, I've spent a lot of my life being afraid of it, predominantly because, you know, I was introduced to Catholicism through the schooling, and we'll come back to that. You know, what religion does is it gets in early, and it's going to get into you early. So this, I'm not saying there's not good people in religion. I think there's good people everywhere, but if you need some reassurance to be a good person, then it's probably the moral failing in yourself, and maybe it's something you need to look at. You know, good people will always be good people regardless, you know, and if you need salvation, I'm unsure what you need saving from. Generally only yourself, which you know, only you can do that. You know, it's it also comes with some conditions, and I don't believe things that have conditions are necessary. You know, so if you look at this stuff, it's only if you do what we tell you to do, you know, will you get the result in the end. And the end result will be some sort of, you know, I don't know, eternal fucking happiness. You know what I mean? Happiness is eternal if you find it within yourself. People can't give it to you. God can't give it to you. You know, you're part of, you know, the human race. You're part of, you know, whatever this is, this universe, however many universe, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. What matters is right here, right now, and what they're selling is later, right? And it's a bit like it's a bit like all salesmen that sells you something that's later. Do you know what I mean? If you do everything, then we'll give you a bit at the end. I would be very, very susceptible to looking into that too much. So hopefully you will question God. I don't know if you find it. I don't even know if you believe it. What I would say is, don't automatically internalize it, because that's what they want. They do not want you to question anything, especially things like this. So that brings us to, I guess, the bigger question: how does it work? Well, it works because what they do is, like I said earlier, they get into schools. That's going to be your first contact. They're going to start indoctrinating you in. Then they're going to start telling you need this. They're going to start telling you that without it, your life will not be as good. You will not be as happy. Do you know what I mean? And you could suffer. You know, the end of your life, you could end up in internal damnation and some sort of really shit place and all that bollocks, right? And the problem is he's got no fucking evidence of this shit, do you know what I mean? He just come out with this absolute crap, do you know what I mean? And I'll say that very, very clearly, do you know what I mean? Because, you know, you can't say this to people with no evidence, right? They'll tell you that the meek will inherit the earth. Well, let me tell you, the meek don't fucking inherit the earth. What happens with the meek is actually they're oppressed by a very few in the capitalist class, right? And it's a good way of keeping the many subversive, and a good way of keeping the many, you know, subdued, right? And that's what they fucking do. And it's got nothing to do with anything else. You know, the church and the state are in it together, right? And they have been for fucking time immemorial. You know what I mean? You know, they'll say, you know, we need to feed the fucking poor, right? Well, if you need to feed the poor, sell all your fucking churches. Do you know what I mean? Feed the poor. You know, don't have the Rome sitting in the Pope sitting in the Vatican in a fucking gold castle. You know, they want you son. They want you to feed the poor, right? You are the fucking poor, because that's what they want. They want you poor. You can only they can only survive if you're poor. They can only manipulate you if you're poor. They can only do this if you're distracted and do things unquestionably. And the other deal that I don't agree with it is, here's the thing, if something goes right, it's because God did it. And if something goes wrong, it's because you did it. It seems like a shit fucking deal to me. Do you know what I mean? Right? The reality is, you will make your choices. Everybody does. You know, and them choices will be made, you know, regardless. And you will make them on the best information you have at the time. Hopefully, you will hopefully make them on some sort of character, moral standing of your character, and that's what I'm going to look to develop. I'm going to look more and more to look, you know, character is more important than reputation, and all them are about is reputation, not character. But they'll tell you something very different. You know, my experience obviously is, so I'll give you a little bit of background. You know, I went to a Catholic school when the Catholic schools were run by nuns. Do you know what I mean? Sisters of Mercy. To be honest with you, they didn't show us any mercy. You know, they were very, very, you know, rigid, very cruel, I think, if I'm honest, and very damaging to young people's minds. Yeah. It took me a long time to not want to be part of that. I don't think I ever really want to be part of it because I never really liked this sort of stuff. But to fully question it, is simple. And what I've come, what'll happen is, in everything in life, what people are going to tell you is this. They're going to tell you is it's not that simple, it's complicated, right? As soon as someone does that, then what you need to do is you need to set your bullshit meter to maximum, right? Because people who tell you that are only telling you that because what they want is they want to distract you, they want to muddy the waters. Life is very simple. Right is right, wrong is wrong, truth is truth, and lies are fucking lies, right? And there is no complicated about this shit, right? So look out for that one, because you're going to see it a lot. Every politician, fucking every expert, they all going to come up with the same shit. It's very complicated. It is, in fact, nothing in life is complicated. Life is very, very fucking simple. Let me tell you. Decisions are very simple. If you don't know the difference between fucking right and wrong, then you're probably not fucking human, really, because it's sort of inbuilt into us on some degree. So they can't use that. Do you know what I mean? Don't allow anyone to use that. As soon as they do that, start questioning it. And this is what I do. And I don't think, I think, probably most of these people, these prophets and that, what's interesting is most of them never wrote anything down. Everything's being written is being written by someone, right? Which is generally because they want to write a viewpoint, and then it's being added to and subtracted from, right? So I don't disagree that these people were good people, and I don't disagree that they were probably trying to help man. If any of them existed, probably they did on some level. You know what I mean? And I don't believe that they were, I honestly believe they were probably persecuted, because basically what they're doing is they're standing up against the establishment and they're saying to the masses, well, hang on a minute, you don't have to live like this. I'm exposing greed, I'm exposing corruption, I'm exposing lies, I'm exposing, I'm basically exposing everything that most of these societies are built on, including this fucking one, to be fair, right? And so subsequently they were probably persecuted and put to death, right? Do you know what I mean? And so will you be. Well, maybe not put to death, but so will you be. But if you go down that road, however, we are at a time and we are at a place in history, I believe, that more and more of us need to be woken up and need to stand up. And so this is a little brief introduction. I don't want to go on too long. I'm trying to keep it to under 15 minutes, so YouTube don't do whatever fucking YouTube do. And what I'll do is I will hopefully just keep picking topics and things that come up. I love you very much, son. Do you know what I mean? I don't envy the world you're coming into. But like anything, sometimes the greatest of things happen at the most difficult times, and maybe this is the one. Right. Well, you're in bed with your mum now, fast asleep. I've probably got to get ready. I've got shit to do, because these will always be early morning things. And we'll catch up again, and I'll share whatever little information and knowledge I have. Bye. See you later, Rufus.